Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to VWMoo 25 and today's amazing session. We're in Kitely in Wolf Country.
Wolf
Wolf
territories is the grid.
territories. Yes,
Is the
wolf
grid. Not
territories.
Kitely. We're not in Kitely.
Oh, we're not in Kitely. We're in
No, we're
another
in a
grid,
whole different grid.
and it's OpenSim, which is absolutely amazing. So we've got Val, librarian, or Dr. Valerie Hill, who'll be there. She is, and she will be taking us and screen sharing and explaining things as she does so amazingly. And we're going to have others. Got lots of people there, and you see their avatars. These are real people, and the avatars are actually representing them. So let the show begin and enjoy, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Nellie, for the intro here in Wolf territories. Let me tell you that the VWEC Virtual Worlds Education Consortium has an ambassador here. I'm going to introduce her in just a moment. And we have some very cutting edge metaverse experts with us today. Kim Starr, Tom Bukowski just dropped in. We have people who really know how to work in the metaverse. And Apuliana, you made it here. I'm so impressed. She learned about um, virtual worlds last year at the MOOC. And this year she has attended many sessions and has hypergrid jumped from Kitely right here. So that shows the power of the MOOC to help people understand this technology. So let me tell you why we're here today. I'm here with the American Library Association, the Association of College and Research Libraries Virtual Worlds Interest Group. There are many librarians interested in how the metaverse is expanding and how we can help as librarians help educators use the metaverse for teaching and learning. And today, our topic on the ALA website is digital legacy. What happens to your content when you pass away? Because do you realize that most content now is not born in print? It's born digital. And here we are in a virtual world with digital representations of ourselves. And we're going to walk over to this memorial garden over here. And I'm going to introduce you. This is a real space, a memorial garden that is a tribute to people who have passed away. So I'm going to turn the mic over to Xenon, who was our ambassador here in Wolf Territories. And I hope that Xenon will let some of you experts here also talk about not just digital legacy, but where we are in digital culture and why we're here in a virtual world at the MOOC. So, Xenon, and if you tell a little bit about yourself and maybe introduce some of the experts we have here. And we'll also let Roxy tell about the Virtual Education Journal, which focused on digital legacy this summer, which is another reason why digital legacy is our topic today. So, Xenon, I'll pass the mic to you.
Thank you so much. I'm Xenon Darrow, also Virginia Dickinson in real life. Real life, that's kind of painful. But anyway, we have, so a little bit about me real quick. I am an instructional designer for University of Texas Medical Branch. I've been in learning and development in petrochem, higher ed, and healthcare largely for over 35 years now. I had my own business for 32 years and worked with major fortunes and universities. And then what else? My undergraduate degree is in chemistry, and my graduate work is all at UT Austin and University of Houston Central Campus. So I'm EDD with an ABD. And yes, I did not do my final defense. So I've been in the virtual world since 2006, where I started in Second Life. I came to OpenSim a long time ago, but didn't come back in until 3 or 4 years ago, and I have just dug in here. I absolutely love OpenSim. I would actually like to pass this over quickly to Roxy, because she may have to, oh, she's still here? Is Roxy still here? If she's still here, because she was going to have to jump off. And so I don't see her. There she is. Roxy, go ahead and share with them about VEG.
Don't hear you yet, Roxy. I would also like to encourage you to drop the link to the latest VEG journal in local chat.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you fabulously now. We could for a second.
Okay. Okay. So can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
We can, absolutely.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So I have to hold my microphone down. So as soon as I jump off, I will put the link to the Virtual Education Journal into the chat so you have that. But the spring issue for the Virtual Education Journal's theme was digital legacy. So we really explored that topic. We have a lot of people who have written articles or tributes to people that they knew in virtual worlds, and so you can see those. You can also see the memorial tour that Val led on 2 different days in June the 16th and the 18th, and we actually have those tours where you can go back and visit the places that we visited, and then you can also find other ones on the Second Life destination page. One of the things that we did do, like my husband, Bob, BJ, and I are the ones that do the journal. We weren't experts on digital legacy. So we turned to ChatGPT and had ChatGPT do the research for us. And then we checked out and validated all of the research pieces that ChatGPT gave us, some of which didn't meet our standards. So we got rid of those, put other ones in. But what it does is, and the reason I like to use AI is it's a great starting place for helping you to do research, and then you can go into a deep dive. And so really what it gave us was a checklist of things to consider that I hope will help people as you consider and you start to think about digital legacy for yourself. How do you preserve other people's legacies and your own legacies? What happens when the screen goes dark and you don't know how to get back to that person that's gone, and is there a way to preserve what the work that they've done? So we really did a deep dive in the issue going into that, but we also have some other great articles in there. Kim Starr is in there. She did an incredible legacy article on Gino, who's a fabric fashion designer, not just fabric, but fashion designer. And for the OpenSims World Fair here on Wolf Territories, she actually animaster to create a fashion show and bring his work alive. And so she wrote an article on that. And if you have time, you can bip over. I think Kim can tell you, but I think that exhibit is still up. She also talked about Gregg Legendary, who in Second Life on the island of Antigua, The Sims, was known as Gregg Barrymore. And so there's an article not only on him, but on being Gregg Legendary out in OpenSims, but also here in over there in Second Life. It's confusing when you're hopping from place to place. We also have a great article, and I see that Cooper Swizzle just dipped in, but on Animaster. And I just have to give a shout out to Cooper, because this month and next month, if you're into wanting to learn more about Animaster and how it works, or you want to get a copy of Animaster, it's at the copy market and it's priced this month. So that's a great savings. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what else to tell you, except that there's 164 pages in VEG, a lot of which is around digital legacy, but a lot of it which isn't as well. So take a look at it, and some really great articles. If you have questions, let me know. But I will, as soon as I stop talking, I will drop that in. And if you want to do listen to all of the different pieces of VEG and to find out a little bit more about us, we did the VWMoo session on Monday. And so that recording is up online, and I will drop that into the chat as well. And I'll turn it back to you, Xenon.
Thank you so much, Roxy. And you really, guys, you really do need to check out VEG. I did put it into the local chat, and it is greatly worthwhile. And they are always looking for fabulous virtual world writers. Okay, so let's begin with memorial. A lot of people think that having a memorial in the virtual world is really about honoring our real life loved ones, but it doesn't have to be. We make real connections in the virtual world, and so you're going to see a couple of virtual world memorials as well. People, one of these people made a huge difference. They passed very recently, and we'll go over and take a look at his memorial in just a second. So these clearly are memorials for people who they're real life loved ones. Okay, we even have a cat memorial. Now, many grids and even private regions can have memorials, right? This is what's really wonderful, is you can just set up whatever memorial you want. And here at Wolf Territories, we have this entire region set apart. And I believe it's probably a 4x4, because so that would be 16 Second Life Sims, equivalent to that. And you can tell just a few people are placing memorials here so far, but it will grow over time. And down here, if we move down here to the end, you will see a memorial to Mal Burns. Mal Burns had a podcast show on here and in OpenSim for a very long time. I don't even know how long. And I got to be on it twice, and he would invite people who were doing things that impacted OpenSim. And so Jimmy Olsen, who's one of our fun and talented designers in the virtual world, actually made this little sign to him. He was Australian. So I'm honestly really glad we have this here. It was an honor to know Mal. And I honestly don't know what's going to fill that gap, because he just made a huge difference in helping people understand OpenSim, telling us what was going on everywhere, because this is not a closed system. It is the Hypergrid. And I'll tell you more about that later if you want me to. So we're going to walk way over here. I mean, when I said what? So as you can see here, we've got a couple of more memorials that are tributes to virtual world denizens. And again, a lot of people think, oh, is this just for your real life friends and family? And no, it's not. You can honor anybody in the virtual world. Okay, we're going to run over here because I'm going to take you to mine, and it's over here on the hill. So let's just run. So we had a festival back last winter called Wolf Winterfest. And I always try to make some sort of demonstration or exhibit for our festivals. And this past year, our Wolf Winterfest festival was about the Day of the Dead. I'm going to say this wrong. El Día de los Muertos. And that is actually a Mexican, not just Latino, but it's specific to Mexico, tradition that is Mayan, Aztec, a blend that evolved over the centuries, that honors. It doesn't honor your dead as much as it celebrates their life, and the belief that this short period has a thin veil between the living and those that have passed. And so when you do this, you're actually inviting your loved ones that have passed to come be with you and spend the evening with you and be around all the people who loved them. So it is a celebration with food and drink and a lot of festivity. And I decided, because of that, I decided to create this thing called an ofrenda. And the ofrenda is kind of an altar that you create that honors your loved ones, right? And so here you can see a lot of my real life loved ones. Down there on the front is a picture of my mother when she was in the Navy and she was very young. And then up above that, you'll see a picture of her with my sister, who is also very recently passed, and her living sons. And that's my mother over on the right. And I think she was like 85 when I took this picture. So that kind of details like who she was between the time that she was in the Navy and the time that she passed. And then over here on the right, you will see my partner, Steve Ackerman, and that's me in the picture with him. And I just like that picture because we were very happy in the picture. And then, you know, as you saw before, we can honor our fur babies. And so down here at the bottom on the right, that is a picture of my favorite barrel horse, and her name was Friday, and she was like my best friend, and that's me riding her. That was a very old picture. So what I love about the ofrenda is it's a celebration. You can see there's wonderful foods out here for your loved one, you know, for my loved ones to come and get their favorite foods. It's a place where I can relax and enjoy myself. And some of the, and it's there to inspire people to wonder, what is this? Like, why is there this altar? And so, you know, being able to share with them about Mexican culture, about this beautiful way of honoring our dead, that's very loving, festive, and beautiful, like bright colors. And then the sugar skull is the skulls that are highly decorated. And one of the skulls is the woman, Catrina, who is believed to be based on the Aztec and Mayan god of death. So that's it, guys. There you go. And that's my memorial. And what I love about memorials in virtual worlds is we can just keep growing them, right? We can change them. We can include more people and just really have these wonderful places where we can come and relax and remember our loved ones. Plus, you know, you can also bring other types of traditions in to really help people have the experience of what your self-expression is. Okay. I am open for questions or comments. Thanks, Tom. All right, before we head, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it is a very beautiful ofrenda and a build for Dia de los Muertos. And, you know, I think it really exemplifies the need for us all to understand what we can do in virtual spaces, because we spend more time in them really than we do in physical spaces, and the balance between the two. So just for the people on Zoom, I'm showing this on my camera for people who have never been in a virtual world. So I'm just going to pull up and show the people in Zoom real quick before you take us elsewhere, Xenon, that we can share resources on these topics. So I've got like a note card here about digital legacy, what it is. And so I'm going to right click on it and share it with you all, just to show people on the MOOC that, you know, there are ways here to build, make tributes, but also share educational resources. So here's just a note card on digital legacy, what it is, what kind of help you can get to understand digital legacy, and what happens to your content when you pass away. So there's your resource on digital legacy, and I'll hand it back to you, Xenon.
Sure. And just so you know, talking about what happens to your content, Val Burns has an entire YouTube channel with like over 100 podcasts. So his digital legacy will survive into the time that YouTube continues to exist. And then we also have another person I'm going to mention that does an event called the Hypergrid Safari, and that's Thurza Ember. And she, so you guys could actually look up Hypergrid Safari and Mal Burns on the internet and probably find that information. Hypergrid Safari is a newsletter, and Thurza does a really great job. She did this with Mal and just does a really great job of sharing different experiences and even, you know, a lot of educational experiences in her newsletter. They do a tour every month, I think. It might even be every week. I can't really remember. And they're just great fun. I've led several tours for them on Jimmy Olsen's regions. So that being said, if there's nothing else here, what I'd like to do in the Hypergrid, that's right, in the Hypergrid. And I'm going to say something real quick since Kim had mentioned this. So Lone Wolf, who owns this, is in meetings today, and so he's not with us. But he is an absolutely brilliant technician, and this entire grid is his. And so those of you out there that are familiar with that Second Life, but not the Hypergrid was created, I think, in 2010-ish, maybe even 2008. But it was shortly after Second Life kind of had its big boom. Second Life is a closed grid. It doesn't go anywhere outside of Second Life. But Wolf Territories, and it was based on SL open source code. Okay, so they released their code briefly, and then they took their code and did other things with it. But independent developers took their code and created this. Now, because of that, there's many versions of the code. So you may go to different grids that actually have different versions running. And so there could be some challenges with that are pretty interesting. And here, this has pretty much been created into a different sort of code, but we have some real interesting technical capabilities that only exist on Wolf Territories. Now, you need to think about the Hypergrid as the World Wide Web. So when you go to Second Life, it's like you're going into this portal that's for one set of web pages. But when you go to the Hypergrid, it's millions or hundreds of web portals, right? And so every grid you go to, you have a home grid, and then you pop around in it, okay? And it's a little more challenging. Being here is, I tell people, when you're in Second Life, you have your, you know, like your luxury sedan that you don't touch anything. It just goes, and when you need something done to it, you take it to the mechanic. Whereas here, this is the muscle car, right? You're having to learn about your car, you're having to adjust it, and that's what it is to be on the Hypergrid. It's actually very cool. It gives people a level of expertise that they simply don't have to have on a closed grid. Okay, having said this, I would like to take you to Iceland, I believe. So I'm going to take you to one of Jimmy's regions, and we're going to go have a quick little look at that, because we're kind of shift over to things that are more educational. Now, keep in mind, these regions that Jimmy creates are not about having a bunch of note cards teaching you things. They are about immersing you into an experience. And what's really cool about Iceland is that it's based on a real place. So I really enjoy it. So let me pull it up. Let me see if I have, I think I have the main. Iceland. Here's my cabin. Okay, here we go. We'll start at Harpa. So, Al, if I pass this to you, I saw you do something really cool where you passed it to everybody. Can you do that?
Sure.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, she's giving me the note card to Iceland. So get my Zoom screen out of the way. And I'll show everyone on Zoom.
Pop over there.
Yeah, on Zoom, I just go to my inventory and look for Iceland. You'll see it pop up. There is the landmark, and I'll share it with the people next to me. Okay. Near me are these names. And now they have the note card, and I will see them at Iceland. I can also copy that address and put it right over here in the local chat. And I'll meet everyone there. Copy the swirl. Oops, it's not copying. Maybe it doesn't work that well here. There we go. Okay, there's the swirl, and let's head to Iceland. Okay, I'll hide all these windows that you're seeing, and then we'll see where Xenon is up here on the road.
I'm right here. Waiting for more people to get here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and begin. Hopefully some other people will still make it over here. We're in the TPing can always be fun. We never know what's going to happen. So one of the things I really love about when Jimmy creates these regions is there's a lot to do, right? So those of you that come to a region and you may not know how to operate a lot of things in the virtual world, he has like vehicles you can drive and go around on, which is always a fun experience. And usually everything he's doing in a world, there'll be lots of animation, lots of things happening. You'll see a giant, massive cruise ship come by if we get lucky. But in the meantime, let me tell you about this building. This building is called Harpa. And if you look it up online, Harpa is a real music hall in Iceland. And Jimmy really wanted to capture, there's a lot of features here that are identical to real life features or his interpretation of them. Now, what makes the Harpa Center famous is they have this brick system made out of these glass bricks. And of course, I don't remember what it's called, but if you look up here, you will see he was able to create these glass bricks and bring them in. And I mean, literally he created the mesh and brought it in and built the building. So let's go inside and take a quick look. See, look at that. I messed up and got behind the door, but I made it look like I was opening the door for you. So that makes me look really. Okay, so in here, again, if you look online and look at the Harpa, and by the way, this place was meant to be seen in a shared environment. So if you go up to World on your toolbar and then select environment, you can select shared and you'll see everything the way that Jimmy designed it, which is based on Jimmy creates weather systems. And so right now, whatever's happening with the weather is identical to what's happening in Iceland. Time, the weather, all that fun. And so right now in Iceland, the days are becoming longer. It's a little lighter outside at night. I'm sorry, the days are becoming shorter. And up until this point, right, we're going to see a little more darkness at night. But up until this point, it's been pretty light all the time. You have what's called the midnight sun. And then during the winter, it will be totally dark all the time. All right, over here, he's created a little gift shop where you can come in and just get things that are, you know, you can get souvenirs and you can get things to decorate your virtual homes with. And then over here, we have a piano that actually plays. And Jimmy created this piano and it has like 3.5 hours of music in it. It's utterly ridiculous. We have some art, some virtual world art specified around, including mine. And then let's head upstairs so you can really get a feel for, you know, how this was designed, how it's designed in real life. So you can see there's more artwork up here, and then we're not going to go over there, but if you follow that corridor, kind of look, and it goes all the way around, there is an office space meeting room back there. And then let's go ahead and make our way up to the theater. And I believe these bricks are called reciprocating, if I'm not mistaken, reciprocating bricks. And so Jimmy has some movie posters up here wanting him to put opera posters, but you know, it's not my thing. And then here is the theater. And so right now we have a Wolf Vision screen up there, which is a something that Lone created that is specific to Wolf Territories that lets you actually show your desktop in real time when you're presenting something, which is kind of handy and cool. We also have a function for text to speech and speech to text, which I should be using, and I forgot, and I'm sorry, but this could have been capturing everything in on the general chat. So my apologies, I should have been showing that off. So we can have presentations here, we can have theater here. Yeah, we do get a lot of really cool things, right? A lot of cool products that Lone creates. So let's kind of take a walk. Oops, if y'all are interested, because I'd really like for you to see downtown as well. And what I really love about these type of regions is it may not have tons of note cards and signage, but it makes you curious, right? Like, what is HARPA, and going out and doing some searches on it and learning about the architect who actually built this in real life, the use of the reciprocating glass bricks, and how it fits into the Icelandic culture at large. And you should know the last time we did a tour for this, it was with the Safari. And I drove this bus that Jimmy gave me to drive and killed multiple times. It was absolutely hilarious. But I don't have the bus right now. So here's what we're going to do. I want everybody, do you know how to fly? I want everybody to fly. There you go. Come on out and get in the air. And we're going to fly over to where the cathedral is. And there you go. Okay. So let's fly down the road. And if you come back here, there is a trolley. And so this is a real life cathedral that I did not have the name of because I wasn't really planning on doing this. It is not a theater, the cathedral that you go into. It is a decorative cathedral, but if you look up Reykjavik, Iceland, and go to their website, you will see this theater. Then climbing the road, yeah, exactly. So one of the things that's interesting about this theater is Jimmy did not make this theater. There are virtual world asset, 3D assets and game assets on the web. And he went and found one that was for free and he brought it in and then decorated it a little bit, made some alterations. So if you look, you'll see stained glass peeking out. And I'm going to brag and say that is some of my AI generated stained glass that he used in this building. And so if you zoom out, you'll get a really good look on the breadth of the building and the monument that it is. Okay, do y'all have any comments or questions so far? All right, let me take you to, yeah, Jimmy does a great job of capturing the elements of a real life place. And there are a couple of fishing towns set up that you can jump on the bus and go to. Yes, I should actually, shouldn't I? I really love doing that too, because it makes Jimmy feel very awkward and it's awesome that way. So I'll definitely do that. Okay, I want to take you, let me see if I can find the landmark. So I'm gonna hop out there real quick and see where this lands. And Val, I'll send you the landmark, okay?
Sure, that sounds great. Amazing, beautiful builds. It's great to see what people do and what tools they use to build these things. All right, I'm seeing that we're going to the Iceland cabin, so I'll grab that landmark, and here it is, and I'll share it with all of you. Hear me. Meet you at the Iceland cabin. I'll also put that slurl in the local chat, just in case some didn't get it. Meet you there. In the cabin? Here we are, right by the cabin. Sorry to land on top of people. A cabin in the woods.
I'm just going to give everybody another 30 seconds or so to get here.
The landscaping is beautiful. The trees and then mountains in the distance. Nice textures.
Okay, so let's go ahead and begin. And we're behind my cabin, so I'm not, because I wanted you to get the experience of walking out into this. This is also on Iceland. So everyone should know that's on Zoom. Part of the OpenSim culture is that we might have dozens of houses on our friends' regions. So, Contessa Lacombe has the cabin across from me. Some of the other houses here, Lone has one. A friend of ours, Cyber, has one. My friend Savannah, we're like, this is our crew, has one, and Indigo Moon has one. So, and we have duplicates, not of these houses, although Tessa and I have duplicates because we like the log cabins, but we have duplicates of living space. Like, we all have living space on each other's regions. So I have one on his Europa Sci-Fi region, one of the regions that's for, what do you call it? Just for, it's a sci-fi, like you go there and experience it. It's a lot of fun. And he has 9 of those regions. And then we have this one here that has a specific theme that you'll see in just a minute. And then we just put the same cabins up on his region that is devoted to Norway, and we call it, it's Norga. That is the real pronunciation of it, which I butcher. So Tessa and I just call it Norge because it is, it annoys him and we don't sound like it's trying to tutorials to SL. It's tough. We don't have great tutorials for getting on the Hypergrid that I know of. So if William, friend me, and I will try to get you some information to get on here. The easiest way to get to the Hypergrid is to go to the grid you want to join. And you remember, joining is free, right? You don't have to buy land, okay? And in this case, if you want to come create an avatar in Wolf Territories, it's going to be wolf-grid.com, okay? And you go there, you create your avatar, and you go through the same process you did with Second Life. And then once you are a resident, just ask for help. People will help you. That's really the way we do it. Do we need great? You definitely need terrific. No problem, William. Get in touch with me. I have friends who will help you. I will help you. So once you're in, people are very helpful. Okay. All right, let's go out here and take a look. So Tessa and I, we decided to be the living history girls here. If I had been, if I knew we were going to do this, I would have worn my Viking gal, outfit, so you would see us in our element. And we decided to create a historical sheep farm, okay? Because sheep farming is a big thing in Iceland. They don't have tons of livestock there, but sheep farming is one that they do have. And I don't know what y'all know about sheep, but they are super parasite prone. And so one of the reasons they do well in these more cooler climates is, and these isolated climates like, what's the other place that's like sheep is their name, say New Zealand, is because there's a definitive lack of parasites. So if you look across the river, you're going to see Tessa's cabin right there in the right through the river. And if we fly over there, we can go in because she has some really cool stuff set up in her cabin for crafting, like authentic crafting. And in real life, she actually went to Berea College in Kentucky, and I don't know how many of you know about that, but the tuition is free, but you can learn things. You work, right? So they have certain things you can do. And one of the things you can learn to do are these crafts and pieces of art. And they have, silver jewelry making, ceramics, like throwing pottery, spinning, knitting, just all kinds of really cool stuff. And so you can learn all those things. And she and her husband both went there. And so they are just amazing artisans on top of everything. So let's fly over there real quick. She's going to be like, why are y'all going into my house? but truthfully, she won't mind. I hope we don't have a bomb in here. Jimmy likes to put bombs in here. Sometimes we open our door and end up like 1,000 miles away, right? So this is, every time we get cabins, we come in, we decorate them, we just have a great time. If you go over in the kitchen, I believe she has food and drinks you can actually get, your avatar can drink. But if you look upstairs in the loft, just cam up there, you'll see actual pieces you can use, like a spinning wheel and a loom, that are things she knows how to do in real life. And so we decided we would be the living history girls. We would have our sheep farm and have some, if you saw the drying rack for herbs over at my place, we would grow herbs. We would, use the sheep for spinning, collecting yarn, spinning, and making artisan clothing, things like that. I know, William, I could have gone to Berea, and my stupid high school counselor had never heard of them and talked me out of it. And it's a regret I have had for the rest of my life. All right, so this is Iceland. Let me think of another place. So I have a choice here, Val. I can take them over to Norge, or I can take them over to Europa. And Europa is the sci-fi sim, and that place is incredibly dynamic. So what do you think people might want to see?
Type in chat, you all. Let's see, which sounds good to you? Some incredible sci-fi, or just type in chat and we'll head to the another place to see some other perspective on the things that you can build here. This is amazing how it aligns to the physical world and the things we can do in the physical world. Okay, I already see a vote for Europa. Okay.
I see Europa. Okay, Europa it is. Let me see if I have a landmark to there. Let's see. Europa. All right, let's start it. I hate to do that because I really want to move short on time, but we're going to start at Europa University, and that is something that Jimmy built for me. And let me pass Val landmark.
All right, Europa University, here we come.
Yeah. Did you get it?
I got it, and I shall drop it to everyone. Here's Europa University.
All right, let's get over there.
Also, copy this URL. When I do that, it's easy to just paste it into the chat. And now we'll head to Europa. And we'll see something completely different than the historical simulation we just visited. Click on the taxi, hop in the bubble, click the bubble, select university, see you there. We'll see if that's what Xenon wants us to do. So many cool ways to get around by teleporting, using immersive ways to travel. And look at all, we're like inside an aquarium here. Look at the fish tank. Tom is brave. He's already clicked on the bubble. I see him inside, getting a good shot of that. Whoa, there he goes. What a cool way to travel. I'm getting this on camera on Zoom. It's a bubble taxi. And there's Xenon. So Tom has already flown over in the bubble taxi to Xenon. Let's see if we can do it, people. There goes Shannon, William, Kim. Okay. And sometimes, we have to wait a little bit if somebody goes ahead of us. So I'll just stay here and get some shots of you all traveling in the bubble taxi. There goes Koshari. So this is, I think, a good example of how we've got good signage here to explain to someone how to get around, and then they can follow the instructions and head there for themselves. Okay. Looks like it's going pretty fast too. I see several people going. I find the sign and I touch it. Touch. And I want to go to the university, so I choose university. And then touch again. University, and I'll see what happens. Going. Just wait a minute. I'm inside it. Here I go. The bubble is flying me right down to join the others at the university. I get there, I can stand, and here I am. That was a fun ride, Xenon. I got it on the Zoom recording so people could see how to travel.
Okay, sorry about that. I ran up there to rescue everyone and they made their way down here. Okay, so you should know that I wanted to take us to the main Europa, and I recommend that you come here and see it when you get a chance. But unfortunately, I don't have that landmark because I just look in the map and go. So I brought us over here. When you come to Europa, there are 9 regions that make up Europa, and I think there's 8 and then a sandbox. And as you can see, if you do not have this on shared environment, you really should. So Jimmy was inspired to make the original Europa. The original Europa region was inspired by the concept of colonists from different worlds living in a Earth-like environment that was provided on the moon of Europa as part of Jupiter. That's part of, that's a moon of Jupiter. So if you kind of came up and look over to my left through the trees, you'll actually see the planet Jupiter there. And he does have this weird, so the real days in Europa are much longer than the Earth days, and he actually has a timer set for the lighting and the weather to be what it would be on Europa that we know of based on science. So it's really cool. We decorated this with plants that we said would grow under the domes. And this he created for me as the university so that we could have presentations and events here in a setting that you simply cannot do in real life. And so let's go into the university. Also, if you notice, he made these cool transportation bubbles that work on each region. You'll be taken to the train station. And when I say train station, there is a train that you can ride through every region. And then here you also have a train that takes us from this area to a cafe that's down the street. And then the other direction has a series of breakout cabins, like little pods that you can go in and work in groups. So this is not set up as a traditional classroom per se. If you go and take a seat, you'll notice that each little grouping of chairs is named for one of the moons of Jupiter. And so when you're teaching here, when you're presenting, if you want to do participation work and breakout work, people automatically set themselves into these little groups, right? You don't have to worry about dividing them up unless you need to move them around. And these match, the names of these match the little pods that are the breakout centers that are in the other end of the region. So you can tell them just hop on the train and go find your pod house to work in. And so that's what they do. Now we were doing a presentation here, and this was a VWC presentation. Cooper and I, and mainly Cooper, you should know Cooper has driven everything, in my opinion, for VWEC in OpenSim. And he is the ambassador for Kitely. I'm the ambassador for Wolf Territories. And who knows how many ambassadors we'll have in the future, because we really want the Hypergrid to become an education center. And we do have another education center in the Hypergrid called, we have AvaCon. And AvaCon was actually created by Joyce Betancourt, founded by Joyce Betancourt, who was one of the original educators that had come to Second Life. And they have an event every year that's coming up in early December called the OpenSim Community Conference. It's free. Those of you that are now enjoying what you're finding out and the possibilities of what you can do in education in OpenSim, I really recommend you go there. It's a free event. You can donate $10 for the VIP. Now here in this session, I was doing something on poster sessions. And so I was just showing people, how to do posters, what are great ways you can do posters to present your virtual world information and learning. And one of the reasons I really like to show people how to do posters is because I believe a lot of people don't participate because they think they have to get up and talk in front of a crowd. And whether you're in the virtual world or real life, it is still one of the top 3 fears that people have. And then the tech also can be daunting, right? To figure out how you're going to talk in world, what you're going to do to present. So I really love poster sessions and get to put them in super settings, right? You don't have to put them in a building. I have an area set up for poster sessions with our Wolf Tech region, Wolf Territories educational community, that is like a forest, and it's set up, it's this beautiful island that's a 4x4, and it's set up so that we can we can put in and take out different poster sessions, and people just walk through this pastoral setting and they learn. And then and I just lost my train of thought because I'm 61 and that happens. But if the people who did the posters want to be there, they can just stand there and talk to people. They can hang out, they can network with other presenters. And I just find that people are a lot less intimidated by that. One of the biggest issues we have in OpenSim is all of the people who are not formal educators who are unbelievably talented, like Jimmy, like Tessa, and they really are not comfortable. They don't see the purpose of speaking in front of a group, right? And so poster sessions really gives people a way to share, and we have so much to share here. Around at this, if you come here and go through the entire 8 regions, sandbox, this place is amazing, and it's dynamic. There's always something happening, always something to get to do. And just by doing, you're learning, right? How many of you are looking at this that have never been in a virtual world and going, wow, how do you move around? How do you create an avatar? Somebody was asking today, how do I get around the Hypergrid? Right? And we recently did a session in here showing people how to dress their avatars, how to customize their avatars, and how to go shopping. And I'm actually doing on issues of dressing your avatar, finding what you want, getting around to open to go. So these are very real things. We had about, okay, how do you change your clothes on Kitely? Here's the thing about the Hypergrid. If you are there, so if I go to Kitely and I'm on my Wolf Territories, it's very difficult for me to change clothes. Sometimes it won't work at all. Because remember, we're running a version of OpenSim that is slightly Kitely. Now, if you want to change clothes, well, we don't have a suitcase, okay? So when we go, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But if you have a suitcase, and everybody has the suitcase, we'll put things in your suitcase and use them from there. But you also have to have the outfit you're wearing in your suitcase, or you won't be able to take the clothes off. The other thing you have to be conscious of is you have to have a duplicate body, put it in the suitcase, and that's the one you wear. All of your HUDs, everything that makes up your entire avatar, is you won't be able to swap it out on another version. And while we are supposed to have accessibility, it's hard, right? Because it depends on the version. One of the showing very manga avatars that she consciously. Oh, am I going over? Okay, sorry. Let me say this real quick. There are avatars you can find here that are free that you can wear, and they're really cool looking, but they don't carry a lot of scripting, so they make it easier to Hypergrid. Okay. Yeah, we do have a pretty cool set of peacekeepers here. Val, I'm turning it back over to you. Those of you that were in Zoom, I cannot tell you how excited I am that you were willing to take a look at what we're doing. And everyone else, I would recommend, if you have time, jump on the train up there and run around Europa.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you so much, Xenon. And I do want to reiterate what we just said about the great helpers here. You can look up Xenon Darrow and these helpers when you get into Wolf Territories. And also VWEC, you can look at our website, VWE Consortium, VWEC, and we can help you find all these worlds and what would be best for you as a teacher or a learner in any world across the metaverse. So this has been a really great glimpse into Wolf territories, and I'm going to turn the mic to Nellie to close off our Zoom session. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, this has been absolutely amazing, and I want to thank everybody that's involved. But this is just to let you know.
That's it, guys. Yes, you can buy land here. Some of the tools I've talked about and shown you only work in Wolf territories, right? Like, and that's true of other grids, like Kim and the work and Cooper and the work they've done with the Animaster. Animaster only works on Kitely, and so here we have 3 or 4.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I just wanted to say that you can see from this session today that there are a lot of people involved. Val, thank you so much for taking us by screen sharing. Everyone's involved. And notice that in this particular land, there are lots of people involved as well. So it's not a one-man show. There are a lot of educators and others who contribute to the success of these spaces. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Val.